Hello, Steve Arts 89. Well, I finally watched Ghostbusters Afterlife. I'd wanted to watch this for a couple of years. It was good. There were a few things I wasn't expecting. One of the things I loved about the original films was that it was set in New York, and they were very New York films. And this film is set in a small town. It has a different pace. It has a building sort of story. The pace sort of grows, and I wasn't really expecting that, because the other films, they sort of have that New York sort of pace. They sort of just move at that sort of speed. And this film takes its time to tell a story and set up the characters. But that's not the film's fault. I shouldn't have been expecting it to be more like the first two films, which I just watched. But it was good. I mean, God, they had so many problems getting to here. They had planned to make a third film a bunch of times, and eerily they had written one of the characters to die, because the idea was that the Ghostbusters had broken up in some way and that they were sort of handing on the torch to another generation, and that was sort of the direction that some of the films had gone, because I think the original film was a huge hit and everything, and the second film was perceived as a failure, or not as successful as it should have been, even though it made 215 million, the original made 230 million. So I really don't understand how it has this reputation of being a failure and people don't like it. But yeah, a lot of people just were a bit burned by that, a bit stung, and didn't want to come back for another film. So it took forever to finally get things in place. And then Harold Ramis, I think his name was, died. One of the actors died. So they ended up, it just sort of got scrapped, and people who'd sort of wanted to do a female parody of the film ended up doing that instead. And that wasn't well received, because, you know, it's a parody and it's not really what you want. It's more like making fun of what you like. So it wasn't well received. So that's a whole other thing. But then fortunately they had the good sense to just say, yeah, we're just going to leave that as a one-off in its own little universe, and we're just going to continue on with the original Ghostbusters story and the original films, the original timeline, and just do a direct sequel to, you know, those two films. And they did, but it is very much its own film. It takes a lot of time to introduce new characters. We do see the original Ghostbusters, basically the granddaughter of Egon's, his granddaughter, ends up inheriting his house. She finds his equipment, and they find the project he was working on. Basically, he found Dozer was trying to be reborn again somewhere else, and he was building like a containment situation. Unfortunately, he died of a heart attack before finishing this, but his children finish it for him. And there's a lot of sentimental elements to this film. She does call the Dan Aykroyd character and him and Bill and what was the name of the black guy? I've forgotten his name. I know the character's name is Winston, but I can't remember the actor's name. They all show up, and the ghost of Egon shows up as well, which I don't know if they got an actor to play the part or if they used CGI. I don't want to know. I just want it to sort of, I don't want to sort of know how it was done. But he comes back. They end up capturing Dozer, and the day is saved, and it works. It's good. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I finally saw it. The only thing that sort of didn't work for me was the idea that the Ghostbusters had been forgotten. And they did this a bit in the first film, where they sort of made them losers again, and they had to sort of beat the system again. And I'm like, they could have just been on top at the start of the film. It sort of didn't really work for me. And this is sort of similar, where they sort of faded away. And what happened was basically Egon discovered, you know, the baddie was sort of putting together like a lair or something and was going to come back. So he basically took the Ecto-1 and all the equipment and all the money, and basically went to try and set something up there. And he, for some reason, he didn't share what was happening. He just sort of went off on his own and did this. And the other guys resented him because, of course, you know, they had to just go off on their own. And it's kind of sad that that's how it went, but it went because he was trying to stop something from happening, and he just was so paranoid about what was happening. And I think he was trying to save the others from it. I'm guessing that's what that was about. But it all worked out in the end, and they've set up another film. We had Annie Potts back. We had I can't remember his name again. Winston came back, and he now runs a big business. So now he has the money to actually fund them, regardless of if there's enough ghosts to catch to keep the lights on. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I saw it. I wish I hadn't put it off this long. I wish I'd seen it in the cinema. But I'm glad they're doing another film. I'm glad they're doing a series. But a lot of people are upset that they are using the original Ghostbusters in the next film. They think it should be passed on to the kids and that's it. I'm okay with them sort of staying in the universe and making this all one big story, and having the original Ghostbusters involved, as much as they were before and that. So I'm looking forward to the next one. I have no issue with the nostalgia bait. I'm sure it's not going to be as heavy as people think it's going to be. That was very much just the way that trailer was edited. The international one shows more of the story itself. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I'm just glad they did a sequel. I'm glad we're getting another one. And I love the Ghostbusters series. I'm glad that it's still alive. It's not dead. And I'm sort of excited to see where it goes. But I'm going to go.